Hello, good afternoon. This is Małgorzata Kurzępa from Fairhouse Investments. I represent the company. I'm a founder and director of the company which invests in properties in UK for over 7 years and over 10 years altogether. Today I'm on holidays. This is why the back of my video is very informal, but I'm visiting my parents in Poland and the weather is so beautiful. I just couldn't resist to get out and spend these couple minutes with you outside. So every Sunday around 1 p.m. I'm coming to you with a different subject, something connected to properties, but usually my informations are for landlords or buyers or people who in general invest in properties, while today's subject is more for tenants, for people who rent the properties, but also a little bit how the relation landlord and tenant looks like. So I have to tell you something which probably is quite obvious for you, that usually I prepare the subjects in advance, so I know I don't plan it a day before. I plan them ahead. So today's subject was supposed to be what to do in a situation when your landlord is trying to increase your rate, tenancy price. But because the situation related to COVID-19 pandemic is turned our market upside down, I want to actually increase a little bit the subject. So if we talk about the market for buying and selling properties, it's probably not great because it's quite flat. Not many things are going on. I just finished one of my renovation. The house is ready to rent, so I'm ready to purchase a new one. But to be honest, there is no many investment opportunities at the market now. So I've been already looking for a couple weeks, and really I just can't find anything. I know it's only a matter of time, but as I said, I expected to go back to the market slightly earlier than these couple weeks. Anyway, if we talk about rental market, it's completely different because our economic situation forced many people to change. Some people change their job and they have to move from one place to another, so they leave one rental property, they move to another one, so another place, so they have to rent something new. Some people divorce, they selling the house and they split and they have to rent two smaller flats, at least temporary. There are also people who just realize that their living space is too small for them and they want to upgrade a little bit, rent something bigger. So I think the rental market is comparatively active now. So it's I would say it's a little bit like tenants time. I don't know, maybe it's too much, but still I think that this is a great opportunity, if this is the time when your tenancy agreement is coming towards the end, to renegotiate the circumstances. And talking about circumstances, I have in mind mainly the price, so your rent, but there are also other aspects. But let me start with the rent. I think if you're a great tenant, if your landlord has no problems with you whatsoever, even if you ask for 10% reduction in your rent, I think he should agree, because as long as he's a reasonable person. Because remember, if he asks you to leave the property or you leave the property, he would lose at least 8%, and the property would be empty, let's say for a month. He would lose 8% of his annual income, because it would be 1 month rent, and on the top of it he will have to pay for all expenses. And another thing, that if he will try looking for another tenant, he will have to pay the agency fee, one monthly rent, if it would be the agency would provide the new tenant and manage the property, at least 350 pounds if he only wants to ask the agency to find a tenant. So it would be more, altogether it would be more than 10%. So if you ask for 10% reduction for the whole year, he would be still, let's say, in little plus, if compared to the situation when you move out of the property. Not each landlord would agree for this, so but you know what's the risk that he wouldn't agree and you have to pay the same. So I think it's always worth to try. What kind of argument you should use? You probably already figured out that there are also some arguments which I think are not great. So I think if you say that you have less work and your salary is slightly lower than it used to be, I think this is a good argument. Also, when you're on furlough and you just stay at home, you paid only 80%. I think it's also a reasonable argument. Another one is that, for example, you lost a job, you have to move to another job, and now you have to travel longer, or for some reason your expenses are higher. Also, for example, the company moved you from one place to another, so it's even better because it's been done for you, and potentially it means that because you agreed for that, it would save your workplace, save your salary, which is the most important thing for the landlord. And I think also if someone in your family suffered from COVID-19 infection, I think it's also reasonable to mention that, of course, if any of this is true, don't try to lie to your landlord, because you never know, maybe he knows someone in your neighborhood, and or if you stay longer with them, they could know something about your personal situation or even your work situation. So if you lie to the landlord, if you lie to anyone, nobody likes it. If you lost your job and you basically jobless, I don't think if it's a good argument you should use, because first of all, the landlord would be slightly scared that even if you're still paying for your property, you could stop doing it. But from looking at it from the other side, if he knows that you lost your job, you have no stable income, it would be very difficult for you to find another property. So basically, you're stuck with your current landlord. So don't tell him about it, because then he knows that even if he increase the rent, you will probably have to agree. So please keep it in mind. The last thing I wanted to mention is that if you shouldn't use the current market. Maybe you shouldn't use the current market situation in general in your negotiation, because, as I said, from my point of view, this is the tenant's time. This is the tenants market, and the tenants, because there is plenty of movement, the landlords are not in a great situation, because plenty of tenants are leaving their properties. But you shouldn't maybe mention it in your negotiation, because it means that you push a little bit landlord towards the wall, and maybe he wouldn't like it. So, and no one likes to be put in the situation when he knows that he has no choice, that he has to agree. So it's like taking all arguments away from them. So maybe you should consider this argument. Another aspect which you can negotiate with the landlord, a part of the price, is the length of your contract. Most of us use as a tenancy agreement, use AST, a short hold tenancy agreement, and this usually lasts 6 to 12 months. But remember that if you already decided that you don't want to move to another property in a short period of time, or you don't want to buy anything by yourself, some people just know it. There are different life circumstances. So you can try to renegotiate the price using also this argument that if the landlord reduce the price, for example, 10 or even maybe 15%, then you are ready to sign the contract for 2 or 3 years, which gives a landlord a peace of mind, because he knows that you stay for this period of time in his property. He doesn't have to worry every 12 months what happens next. So I think it's a good argument. You should definitely try this one. However, remember that most of us, I think most of the people, thinks that this situation about the economical crisis we are now in, it will probably last 6, maybe 9 months. I don't think if anyone expect doesn't matter if it's true or not, that it would last longer than 12 months. I think everybody expect that after these 6 to probably 9 months, everything would go back to normal. So also the landlord should probably expect that. So he could not agree for the reduction for 2 years or 3 years, but maybe he would try to renegotiate as well, and maybe he would agree for, let's say, 10% for 1 year. You would be still in plus, I think. Sorry, I'm checking my notes. Also, some special circumstances could happen. So I think this is a good option for people who, what I have in mind, I will explain it soon. In a situation when, first of all, you know that you stay in a property for a long time, and the second thing, the property needs a little bit of refurbishment, a little bit of work, like for example the kitchen or the bathroom is slightly old, it needs an update. You can try to negotiate with your landlord, especially if you know how to refurbish the property, or you know someone who would help you with this and who would be able to assess the expenses in advance. You can offer your landlord that, for example, you refurbish the bathroom or you refurbish the kitchen, but in return, the landlord would reduce your rental price. But as I mentioned, you have to be aware of the expenses in advance before you start negotiating with your landlord, because you have to be very, very, very careful. Don't try to put this to divide these expenses for more than 3 years. What I have in mind, it's like if you, for example, spend £3,000 for the renovation. In my opinion, it means that your rent should be reduced at least £100 per month. Reduce £100 per month, because it means that you will get all this money back in slightly less than 3 years. Because you can't put yourself in a situation when you spend £10,000 for the renovation and the rent would be lowered only by £100, because then it means that you will be repaid. You will have to wait very, very long time to be repaid. So this is not how it is. If you manage to negotiate such a situation with the landlord, which would be good for both sides, it means that the landlord would have a renovated property, could even increase its value a little bit. For example, if you would remortgage, the value would be assessed differently, definitely higher. But from the other side, you will have new bathroom or new kitchen, or whichever you decide to renovate. So this is also an option for negotiation. Another aspect is when could you negotiate or renegotiate your contract. If you use a standard AST, which is for fixed term, then it means you can start your negotiation 1 month before the end. From landlord's side, he should start his renegotiation approximately 2 months, not approximately, 2 months before the end, the termination of the contract. 2 months for landlord, 1 month for you. So if it's fixed term, then 2 months in advance from landlord's side, to 1 month in advance from your side, you could start renegotiating the circumstances. But if you stay in a property for longer period of time, usually longer than 12 months, some agencies sign, or some landlords sign a new contract, new fixed term, but some of them are going into so-called rolling contract. It means that your contract basically renew every month. It means that it's not fixed term, and it means there is no end term. So from your point of view, it means that you still have to give a 1 month notice if you want to leave the property, or if you want to renegotiate the price or other circumstances. But otherwise you can do it anytime, just 1 month in advance, and that's it. Sorry, what next? Now we're coming to the situation which was supposed to be the main subject of this of this video, and what you should do in a situation when your landlord is trying to increase the tenancy price. So in my situation, I came across it once when landlord was trying to increase my tenancy before, in the time when I was renting properties. But eventually because I negotiated with him, the price was increased, but only a very small amount. But so first of all, remember you don't have to agree. You could say, I don't agree, but I still want to stay in the property. The second option is, I don't want to agree and I'm leaving the property. And the third option is, do not necessarily agree for as much as he wants. Usually this is 10%. Just try to give him 3%, 5%, whichever you manage to negotiate. Landlords are quite normal people. As I said, you can negotiate with them, you can talk to them, you can try to get in touch with them, sometimes via agency, sometimes without it. Then it's easy when you have a direct contact to the landlord. Negotiation are much easier, or staying in touch. So believe me, because they also want to have a peace of mind. They also like very much good tenants, so they should be open for negotiation. So you should always try, just be nice, be gentle, and just talk to them like to normal people. I promise they would treat you exactly the same way. I never increased my no, maybe never is not a good time. I haven't increased the rent to my tenants yet, but maybe because I don't have a tenant who stayed longer than 3 years in the property so far. So usually, you know, when they leave, then I increase the price, but this is already for the new tenant, so this is a completely different story. I have few friends who have properties and who have properties with tenants in them staying for 10 to 12, even 12 years. But again, these properties are not in London, and I know that they don't increase their rent. But as I said, if they would be in London, here the situation is slightly different. But because they are outside London, the prices haven't changed that much, and property usually deteriorate in standard a little bit after 10 or 12 years. So if the landlord doesn't do much work in the property, he or she didn't increase the price as well. So I think this is all I wanted to tell you. I don't know what is your experience, and if you ever been in a situation when the landlord agreed to diminish the price, or I'm sure plenty of them has been in a situation when the landlord increased the price. But if you have any of your own ideas, please share them with me. I would be more than happy to discuss them, and maybe I also share with my colleagues and with the people who listen to me. So it was great seeing you. As I said, I'm in Poland. We have nice weather. You don't see too much sun because it's a little bit cloudy, but believe me, it's really, really warm and it's really nice. You are 1 hour, I'm sorry, no. Yeah, I'm 1 hour ahead from you. So yeah, I think it's a great time, and enjoy your time. I just realized, you know, I think I'm 1 hour ahead of you, so actually I recorded it too early. Wow, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your holidays if you have them, and I will see you next Sunday. And if you want to, you could always find my videos on my fan page, Fair House Investments, but also I have a YouTube channel, the same name, Fair House Investments, and all my videos are already there. So thank you very much. You have a wonderful Sunday. Małgorzata Kurzępa, Fair House Investments. Bye bye.